Hello, hello, and welcome to another extra special episode of the Killer Author Club. The one and only Lisa Scottoline is here with us tonight to tell us the truth about the Devlins. We have tons to talk about, so grab your cocktail and your list of questions for Lisa, and we will see you right back here.
Thought you really loved me, guess I was wrong. Thought you'd never leave me, guess I was dumb. Waited like forever to be your plus one, but I guess you were done.
Hello to all our new members and to the OGs on Facebook or Instagram or YouTube or wherever you're watching. We are so thrilled to have you here tonight. I'm Killer Kimberly Bell, and with me are Killers Heather Gudenkoff and Killer Kara Ruda. We are so super excited to be welcoming Lisa Scottoline to the club tonight. We are going to be talking all things the truth about the Devlins and killing, of course, of the fictional kind. Make sure to drop your questions for Lisa in the comments. Kara and I will be scouring them and ask our guests as many as we can get to. But in the meantime, Heather, would you please do the honors?
It would be my honor. Over the course of her stellar and prolific career, #1 best-selling author Lisa Scottoline has sold over 30 million copies of her page-turning thrillers.
I am the oldest one here. I'm extremely old.
Acclaimed historical fiction and beloved humorous essays. Her most recent suspense novel, What Happened to the Bennetts, won praise far and wide, with USA Today calling it a must-read book. And I can attest to that. It was an instant New York Times bestseller, shortlisted for the Hammet Prize for crime fiction, and has been optioned by BAFTA-Award winner Nicola Shindler of Quay Street Productions. A former lawyer, Scottoline taught a course she developed, Justice in Fiction, at the University of Pennsylvania Law School, her alma mater. She lives on a farm outside of Philadelphia with an array of disobedient pets. Congratulations, Lisa, and welcome.
Oh, Heather, you made me sound so respectable. When wine.
We're getting to the wine soon. Don't worry.
Yeah, and we're going to dive into the book in great detail in just a moment. But for now, can you give us the elevator speech for your newest instant New York Times bestseller, The Truth About the Devlins?
Oh, you're so sweet. Well, thank you so much for having me. This is so much fun. And you ladies are just, we were talking in the green room and now we're all besties. I guess though, the only headline about The Truth About the Devlins is it's kind of, we all have roles in our family. And in the Truth About the Devlins, the guy who's the baby of the family, the ne'er-do-well in the family, the charming disappointment in the family, is one night taken aside by his older brother, who's the anointed one, the God, the one who's going to take over the family law firm. And the good son says to the bad son, I committed a murder tonight, and I need you to help me bury the body. That happens on page 1. That was the idea I had that year, and I always got to go with the. It's not an impressive way to write with no outline. You know, people say how it ends. I don't even know how it middles, but that's the story.
Wow, and it was high octane. High octane.
Thank you.
And we have so many questions for you. And a reminder to everyone: please drop your questions into the comments, and we will add them to our list of things to ask Lisa. But first, it's time to talk about this episode's special drinks. Kara.
Told you it was coming up, Lisa. Okay, so
This is a great idea, guys.
killers love our cocktails and mocktails and tasty drinks. So every episode, we ask our killer guests to come equipped with a favorite and recipes for tonight's drink. All the killer cocktails that have come before are at killerauthorclub.com under the Killer Cocktails tab. Lisa chose Lambrusco as her special drink tonight. Lisa, can you tell us why? And cheers.
You know what's sad is that the main character in Devlins is actually a recovering alcoholic. So I'm not sure if this was the best idea for me, but we'll just go along and have some fun.
Water too.
I love this wine. Everyone, I don't care. This is amazing. And everyone, listen, anything we write is better with this wine. We're funnier, we're smarter, we're twistier, and the endings are always a surprise when you're drunk. So it's leaning Lambrusco, which I had at a restaurant in New York with my daughter, and I was like, this is really good. And then I found out that Lambrusco is not like the cool wine. It's more like was cool in the 70s, which is the last time I was cool. So I'm gonna have a little sip. Cheers. It smells amazing. I'm crazy about this wine.
That's awesome. Yeah.
You know, when we were in high school and then sangria was big.
Yeah.
Well, you weren't born, but I was in high school. And sangria was basically wine with orange slices in it, and you thought it was great. This is like that. My daughter says my favorite wine is juice box.
That's hilarious. I love it.
A very sophisticated palate. I like it.
That's exactly right. Well said. That's you gotta be a writer.
I love it. All right. So the Killers and I started the Killer Author Club 2 years ago so that readers like you guys can interact with some of the best suspense and thriller authors in the business. Our winter-spring lineup includes superstars like Kirsten Moglen. I have trouble wrapping my tongue around that name. Rachel Housel Hall, Sandra Block, CJ Box, and so many more. Dates, times, past episodes, and much more can all be found at killerauthorclub.com. But tonight we're here to talk about The Truth About the Devlins, which was a Library Reads Hall of Fame pick, one of Mystery Tribune's best crime, mystery, and thriller books of March 2024, a Brit & Co.'s most anticipated and best new books of 2024. Mystery Scene says The Truth About the Devlins. Scottoline introduces a dysfunctional family that really puts the fun in dysfunctional. Scottoline explores those deliciously screwed up family dynamics with gusto, part family drama, part legal thriller. Scottoline proves once again why she's a master of the genre. You'll burn through this book in no time flat. I agree with that.
Thank you.
A ripping blend of legal and family drama, according to Publishers Weekly, and Booklist says a new family thriller by bestselling Scottoline is automatically a must-have. So, Lisa, obviously, you are a highly skilled and accomplished killer. So now we need to know your answer to the killer question: how do you kill?
You guys crack me up. You know what? I kill him with humor. That's what I decided. Because when I was writing this book, I really wanted to have a flawed character because I think a little bit, you know, my books are all about justice. I think all of us writing crime fiction are really writing about justice. And it is just such uncertain times in terms of law and justice. And so you need to me a character that is realistic in sort of more troubled times. And I sort of thought that we're coming out of a lot of troubled times, referring specifically to COVID, you know, that we're finally finding our feet again. Or we were just talking about how we're touring again. And so I had him be a recovering alcoholic, a person who's just finding his footing. But what carries him through this novel, when I realized all the strikes he has against him, even though he looks very privileged, it was really that he's funny. That I started out saying he's the charming disappointment. And then, of course, I'm sitting there going, Lisa, he has to be charming. Make him charming. And so in about 35 drafts, I had one sip of wine. I'm drunk now. I can't even talk. I'm like, I can't even. That's it. End the show. In any event, he's funny. And I thought this is good because he has such adversity. And you all write wonderful books about people in trouble. And we don't want to hear them whine. We want them to persevere and also have a little bit of a sense of humor. So he does. So I thought, you know, if the way he kills is with humor, and it's kind of great. It kind of worked for. I have a crush on him. Unfortunately, he's fictional. Right.
I love that. Some of my best boyfriends were fictional.
I know. Bradley Cooper, right? Like,
no, but I actually really loved TJ. He had some great one-liners, and it made him very easy to like. Everybody, and I think would be immediately rooting for him. So, how difficult was it to write from a male point of view? Did that come easily?
You know, I've written like 36 books, and for the first 20 or so, I really wanted to see more women main characters, and so that's what I did exclusively. But I'll tell you that at some point I started to think, are you afraid? Like, are you afraid to? I'm kind of insecure, so I was like, wait, let me drink more. I was like, are you kind of Are you don't know if you can do it, and you haven't had a date in like ages? No, sorry. I'm single. I mean celibate. And so I said, all right, well, but then you really loved your dad's, and so okay, try to channel your dad. And so in a way, then I broke the seal. I don't know if you guys are like that too. Do you ever feel like, oh my God, I can't do that? I'm not allowed to do that. Am I the only one? Because I'm going to drink heavily. I'm the only one.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
No, and that's kind of why I asked the question, because the first time that I wrote from a male point of view, I thought it was really scary. I was like, can I do this?
Right.
Really? I didn't even think about it because I just said, this guy popped into my head because I write similar to you, I'm a pantser. And so the guy popped into my head and I'm like, oh, he was just so strong that I had to write his character. And I didn't even know that it would be weird that a woman, and it's all his, perspective. So is that bad that I did that and didn't even think about it?
No. It's America and nothing is bad.
Okay, good.
And I also think, you can get away with things with a male character that you can't get away with when you're writing a female character. They can be snarkier, they can cuss more, they can,
they can.
Which is, I don't know what that says about, I do know what it says about that, but it's sad but true, you can.
Well, you deal with stuff, because I remember I was in an airport once on tour a while ago, and I was watching somebody look at my book, and it was a guy, and then not buy it, which is always a great feeling.
Oh no!
I fell to the floor, and I was so bummed. Anyway, what I did was buy the book and bring it to the guy, and I said, I'm the author, although I look nothing like this virgin on the back, but sorry, Heather, I didn't mean to like. And I said, I am curious that why you didn't buy the book. And he said, I never buy books by women. And I was like, well, you still haven't, you jerk. But take it as my gift. And let me know what you think. And he wrote me 3 days later. This is swear to God. He wrote me an email and said, I really loved your book. You write like a man.
Oh my God, backhand.
Here, writing like a man.
Writing like, well, you know what? And now everybody wants to write like Lisa Scottoline.
Yeah, right.
I mean, you write thrillers, you write historical fiction, you write essays, you write it all. How does that feel being, jumping from genre to genre? Do you have a favorite? Do you are you drawn to one more than the other, or is it just I'm looking at that comment.
I see that too. Good line, Renee. I should have.
Whatever feeling strikes.
Well, I think all of us are writing in different. I know your blog. I mean, I've read you, Heather, in different formats. So I think that if you write, you can write anything. I didn't always think that, because as I said, I'm insecure. So I remember when I started to write historical fiction, I actually thought of Mean Girls, because I would always picture sometimes a high school table at the cafeteria and going, "Can I sit at that table?" And then I thought, no, you can't, because that's like they're history people and you're a thriller person. But then I did, and then they all turned out to be super nice women, just like us. And so I'm glad. I think, and I learned my lesson from that.
And do you have the same process when you're writing historical? Yeah, same thing.
We never learn pantsers. We just do the same impossibly hard thing for a year and drive ourselves nuts. I forgot.
With historical, you have to get all those details from that.
Yeah.
And then you have to like shove it all in there and like have them. Yeah, it's harder. I tried one as a pantser and I just found it like a lot harder because they had to stomp around in like a different generation. Like I was writing in the 40s, and then they're all like, oh yeah, we like your characters, but you didn't have enough, details of the like speech stuff, all that. So I don't know how you do it.
Yeah. Well, you know what? The advantage is very simple. No cell phones. That's it. You have a character without a cell phone and a computer. You don't have to do anybody on a search. Like I always worry I'm going to lose the reader when they go, or it's a hacker, I'm in, like all that weird stuff. I hate that stuff.
Yeah.
It's hard.
That's a good point. All right. Like that. Wait, there was a question that I just saw. Killer Lisa, how is Bradley doing?
Don't even tell me. I brought him upstairs. There's a children's book called Flat Stanley.
Oh yeah.
And so I have a flat Bradley because I thought, why should these little brats have all the fun? And but the problem is I have a life-size Bradley Cooper, but then I keep coming in this room, which is my family room, and I forget that I have him. And so there's like, I go, I scare myself, and I was like, okay, I got to put them in my. I know it's sad. Well, I have a rich imaginary life.
Hilarious.
Have you ever met him?
No, well, no, I didn't really speak to him, but I was an inch away from him because I was trapped in my car. You know how when you're in your car and I shut the car off and I was lost and I was on the phone. Actually, my best friend, who's my assistant, I'm on the phone with her trying to figure out how to get the Google anyway, I sound like such an idiot, but I couldn't figure out how to get out of where I was in New York. And then all of a sudden, and I have the windows up in the car and I see Bradley Cooper. And he's
Stop.
There's no one on the street. I'm on a back street because I'm so lost. It is friggin' Bradley Cooper walking right at my car. And meanwhile, he goes right by the car. This was me. I couldn't figure out how to get the window down. Also, I'm like this. Hey, Bradley! The guy's like, oh my God, who is she? Is she on the Lambrusco again? Yes, he is. So I kind of met him, but he doesn't know it.
That needs to happen. That connection needs
to happen. That so needs to happen.
Oh my gosh.
I love
So Colleen wants to know, how do you decide what kind of book you'll be writing next?
How do you guys decide? I just go with what my idea is. There's the spirit that moves you and you go, oh, that's a good idea. And that's the one I kind of go with, right? How you guys any different?
Yeah.
Yeah, I get that. And then my agent's like, well, that doesn't sound that fun.
Yeah, you're right. That's what I was going to say.
Go have a drink, okay?
Right.
Yeah, then I have my Lambrusco, and then all ideas just flow. Yes.
But I think that's why I've been stuck at the halfway point for my current work in progress. Not enough Lambrusco. So
There you go.
problem solved.
Well, I always thought that this is the only time I'll quote Hemingway, but if I ever get stuck writing, I'm always like, he always says, write drunk, edit sober.
Yeah.
I don't do that. Obviously, we're joking around, but I like that spirit. You know, the very Anne Lamott kind of like get it down, then get it good. I say that to myself still.
Yeah, she's great. I have, I wonder where that is. Oh, she always says, Anne Lamott always says the 1-inch picture frame to tell the story through a 1-inch picture frame. So you're just looking at this 1 inch of your story and keep going through that 1 inch until you get where you need to go. So it seems much more manageable.
There's a great Il Doctora quote about that. Something like you can get across the whole country in the space of your headlights. The idea is you don't have to see beyond your headlights. You just keep going. And I think that's really true. I mean, I hope people who watch you, I'm sure that they want to write, and I know we would all encourage them. You don't have to know what you're doing. We don't know what we're doing.
No.
We just start doing it and you go, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's really true.
Yeah, every single book, I'm like, how does this happen again? What do I do again?
I really do this. And I think also, I don't think as women, we're necessarily really socialized to take that kind of risk. So sometimes I think it's a lot about risk. It's like, am I allowed? What are the rules? I didn't go to school. Whatever the thing you tell yourself, none of it's true. You should just do it.
Right.
It's risk and trusting that you're going to figure it out.
Yes.
Even when it feels like there's no way you're going to figure it out.
Right. Right.
Well, and just sitting down and doing it and telling yourself that you are good enough to do that, to just sit down and start writing if you want to do it. Yeah.
Right. Right. I know it sounds so lame, but I took inspiration from Nike because of that just do it. Really made sense to me because there was so much. I thought it lean in.
Mm-hmm.
She was sort of right about saying that women, the thing we tell ourselves is we're not ready.
Mm-hmm.
We're just not ready. And that men, to their credit, don't say, I don't need to do A through C before I get to D.
Right.
I'm ready.
Yeah.
You're going to get readier. You might as well just jump in.
Yeah.
Kind of good.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I love it. So let's talk about research, because I know you love to do research. I've read that. And so I want to know about the research that you did for this book. I have two things that I want to ask about, but you tell me first, because I bet you're going to tell me.
You know, every writer loves research because you don't have to write that day.
Exactly.
Let's be real. Come on. And you're always going to find that you're going to get 2,000 more words out of whatever the room looks like because you actually know what you're talking about for a change. Actually, this was pretty moving, though. The research for T.J. Devlin and The Truth About the Devlins was that I read a lot of memoirs about people who had struggles with alcoholism and addiction. But what I really did that was cool was that, you know, through the miracle of Zoom, you can go to AA meetings on Zoom. And there are public meetings, and you don't have your name, and you just listen. And I went to a slew of those, and because I really think that when we have a main character, and I think this is true of you guys as well, but I'll speak for me. I'm trying to think, what is a hero? What is a man? What is a woman? You're thinking a little larger. And when I watch these people who were honestly had made mistakes in their life, but were taking account for them, were accounting for them, and taking responsibility and trying to change, it was so profoundly moving, and also something I really admire. You know, and I started to think that's a hero to me. A hero isn't a person who never makes a mistake. I'm divorced twice. I've made mistakes. You should meet my second husband if you want to. I don't know what I was thinking in any of it. What I'm saying is, not to digress, but what I'm saying is, so you make mistakes, it's what happens next. And I admire accountability and the strength it takes to get up and do that. So I saw that in all the AA meetings I went to. And it was really, really moving. And it really helped me make this character. And I wouldn't have gotten it right without that.
I loved the line that his sister said, like she was talking about, you know, a mistake that he made. And she said, you thought it was your worst moment, but I thought it was your best, because he stood up and he took accountability.
Yeah, right. And like, as you know, I didn't plan that. I just thought in that moment, oh yeah, she's a loving sister. Yeah. Being the middle child, she's always making peace, and they call her Swiss Miss. But she realized, as soon as she said that, I thought, well, she's pretty smart.
Yeah, I liked her.
Thank you. It's very kind of you.
So the other part of the research I wanted to ask about were the experiments. We can talk about that, right? It's not giving something away.
Totally. We're not giving anything away. No, I mean, it's long story short, I live in Philadelphia my whole life, which is why I have this horrible accent. And I learned, and I went to Penn undergrad and law school. And then a long time ago, I learned that Penn, unfortunately, in the 70s, when it was lawful, through a doctor named Dr. Albert Kligman, who's now passed, he conducted actual experiments, medical experimentation on prison inmates at 7 of Philadelphia County prisons. He did that for an array of private companies, drug, pharmaceutical, skin, all these kinds of array of products. And one of which, amazingly enough, was a skin compound called tretinoin, which is the forerunner of Retin-A and Renova. And some women who want to get their wrinkles gone and exfoliate might recognize that. And I wanted to write about that because I think it would appall most people to know that that product was developed on the backs of people who were incarcerated and, you know, gave meaningless informed consents, and subsequently developed a lot of cancers and other illnesses. So it's really a dark chapter. And of course, those populations tend to be a minority and underprivileged. So it's a very bad chapter in Philadelphia history. But I thought it was one that resonates, unfortunately. And I thought, and when you're writing a book about justice, you can't ignore that. Right. And so the middle child, Gabrielle, is a public interest lawyer, and she takes up that case, as people have tried to fight that case for years. But I think I found a legal loophole that I hope would help somebody actually stage a suit.
Yeah, ingenious. Yeah, and it struck me that wasn't long ago. That was not long ago that this was occurring, and just really heartbreaking. So you mentioned you were a practicing lawyer before you started writing thrillers, or adjacent to writing thrillers. What was harder, being a lawyer or writing? And which did you prefer?
I love writing, but writing is harder. And I think because of what we all do, which is all of us are making books that are set in a realistic place and playing by the rules. Now that's the hard part, but it's also the cool part. So to invent something and have a character get into trouble and then realistically get out of it again, that is a bit of I'll tell you, the only thing I miss about law is just the good fight that it used to be. I mean, you have to really want to fight. And I actually don't mind a good fight. So that doesn't make me sound good, but it's true. But why it makes good drama, conflict, right and wrong, while we're interested in, the news and all the stuff that happens every day in courtrooms. It's fascinating.
Yeah.
This is very hard for me to keep my wits when I had those drinks. You guys, you snuck me. I mean, you're like, now I'm going to ask you really hard questions like, wait a minute, I had a drink.
Don't worry. We're going to the next segment.
Yeah, we could talk forever and have so many more questions, but we have
easier questions. My favorite color is hot pink. That's I can answer that.
I like that.
I can get on board with that.
I'm starting water now.
Absolutely. Well, we have some fun news because Lisa is giving away 3 paperback copies of The Truth About the Devlins to 3 lucky U.S. Killer Author Club viewers. Doesn't matter if you're watching us on Facebook or Instagram or YouTube. We scour the comments everywhere we stream, but please make sure to shout out where you are from. So the killer question for our viewers is, what was Lisa's profession before she became a writer?
That's pretty easy. We're just talking about it.
Yeah, so drop that answer into the comments and you might be one lucky winner of a copy of What Happened, or excuse me, The Truth About the Devlins.
We could have one before that, which was a waitress, a really bad waitress.
Oh,
I loved waiting tables. That was my favorite job.
Did you really? Why?
I don't, because you can like make people happy, and then if they're poo head, you just walk away. I'm
not getting that cash at the end of the day, I have to admit.
That was awesome too.
Actual cash.
I loved it. Yeah, I love that. But anyway, it's not about me. Okay, you guys. So, the killers love indies, and we want to support them. And Lisa really, really loves indies. So much that she couldn't pick a favorite. Usually we give authors 1 favorite. We're giving her 4 people 4. Okay. So she would like to highlight Main Point Books in Lloyd, Reeds and Company Bookshop in Phoenixville, Newton Bookshop in Newton, and the Doylestown Bookshop in Doylestown. So Lisa, can you tell us why you love independent bookstores so much and why these
are my besties. These are my locals, and they're all wonderful. And I always try, for 35 years, I think I've signed almost exclusively in indies, at least half. And I just love them, because I think we need bookstores in our neighborhoods. I think it says something not only to adults who want to find a place to hang. I always think of it as like they're hardware stores for girls, which is very sexist. But I also think it says something to our kids. Books matter. And unless you have a chance to wander in one and look around, sort of unaccosted, and figure out what you like and find yourself. I really think books matter. So bookstores matter. So I couldn't pick one, but those are my locals and I love them all.
Yeah. You're lucky to have 4 good ones right there.
Fantastic.
Yeah, super lucky.
That's amazing. Awesome. All right. Is it me? Okay. Yes. We have an alumna, an killer alum. So Darling Girls by Killer Sally Hepworth is out in the US today, and we have 1 signed copy up for giveaway. A thrilling page turner of sisterhood secrets, love, and murder by New York Times bestselling author Sally Hepworth. This is the rare story that's equally character and plot driven, with the sisters portrayed as distinct and lovable and the plot just packed with twists. That's according to First Clue. I'll drop the link in case you want to go and get yourself a copy, but make sure to comment to be entered into the giveaway.
Yes. And as much as we love to invite every amazing killer author to be featured on their show, there are so many fantastic authors right out there in books, and only 3 of us. So, but we can't let this night go by without celebrating a very special author with a brand new release. So congratulations to Anthony Horowitz, which he releases Close to Death today, and he is giving away 3 copies to U.S. readers. So congratulations to him. So it's about when Charles Kenworthy is found dead on his own doorstep. A crossbow Sticking out of his chest, the police call in former detective Daniel Hawthorne. But how do you solve a murder when everyone has the same motive? And we'll drop the link to that into the comments as well.
So there, it's a big night tonight, you guys.
Yes.
Not only that, we have membership has its privileges. So if you're on Facebook, check out our private members only group called the Killer Author Clubhouse. This is a place for really hardcore killers to hang out, where we share book recommendations, all sorts of murderous fun, and hold giveaways. Every episode, we choose a name from the clubhouse to win a piece of Killer Author Club swag. T-shirts, mugs, candles, totes, hats. You guys know all that. And all of that can be found on killerauthorclub.com if you don't win, but maybe you will. Okay, so tonight's winner is Tammy Eng. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Please send one of us killers your address, and we'll send some Killer Author swag your way.
Love it. So, Lisa, we have excellent news for you.
Do I get swag?
You do. You have survived the Killer Author Club. And we bestow upon you this badge. You can print it out, hang it on your wall, maybe pin it onto flat Bradley.
That's what you need to do.
You guys are too much fun. Thank you so much for causing me to have a reason to drink at 9 o'clock at night.
Our pleasure.
Not my life.
So thank you so much. That does it for tonight's episode. Thanks to everyone for tuning in, and thanks so much, Lisa, for being here. You made our night. Absolutely.
Thank you, ladies. I love you all.
Yes,
Keep killing.
We'll be back in 2 weeks on May 7th at 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific, with the one and only Kirsten Modglin to talk about all things Do Not Open. In the meantime, find us in all the regular places. Thanks for tuning in.
Good night.
I guess I'm a killer.